it in your bag for the day you looking bad as you wanna. Thought you had a man, I made a fat ass of some. Turning necks and pumping brakes. When that ass hit the function, it's time to go to work. Do the math, I'm a punching.
What it is, what's poppin'? This is the Interlude, and we are back, and this is episode 2,
season 3, man.
Season 3, man. Yeah, we keeping it coming. Like we said, it's gonna be a crazy season. A lot of different topics, a multitude of topics. Try to switch it up for y'all, man. But yeah, this episode, what we gonna do is talk about who's up, who's next. Go. Hate y'all, but no.
If that clip's not in here, I'll be very upset with you.
No, it has to be. No. Who's up next, man? Who are the artists that in like 5 years we feel like we may be talking about as household names, or they may be making their ascension up to being the top in their genre, or at least of their class. But I know me and Jesse both brought 5 artists. Both brought 5 artists, and we just gonna seesaw back and forth from our list on who we think is next up, and just go from there, man. So I'll let you go ahead and start off.
So my number 1, I have Cordae, who formerly went by YBN Cordae.
Young Cordae.
Yes, sir, man. Cordae definitely has the pen skill. He has the bars. He has the lyrics, which we all know. Overall, I feel like that he, as young as he is at his age, he has the potential that can push hip hop, keep hip hop at its roots and on a mainstream stage, when the people like that we speak of today, Wale, Big Sean, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, all of those artists, when their time is gone, that he has that ability to say that there's still a staple in hip hop that gives you the roots of what hip hop is. When you talk about lyrics, you know what I'm saying, when you talk about just great bars. And Cordae is definitely that guy that in 5 years, I believe that he's going to be a big name in music, for sure.
I definitely have to agree, man. Cordae is a rarity from his class in terms of his approach to rap. I believe. I don't think you see too many people with the type of pen that he has, and I think that was very visible before his debut, even, which was an amazing debut, by the way. So the first artist on my list is Masego. So, Masego, man, I mean, Rory mentioned this on the Joe Budden podcast, and that was kind of what made me think about it and really be like, he's absolutely right. Like, I mean, I've known this for a while. I've been listening to Masego since 2017.
Facts.
And people are kind of like just now really, really kind of getting hip to him. But he's next. Like, what he can do, like his versatility is ridiculous. And I really think it's just a matter of that breakthrough song or that breakthrough project or that breakthrough feature. Like it's gonna be one thing that really puts him on the map, and then everybody gonna be like, where have I been all this time? You know what I'm saying? So Masego is the first one on my list.
Okay. Number 2 on mine is one that some might know, but like many probably won't. Kenny Mason. So Kenny Mason is an Atlanta-based rapper, and he really kind of phased through 2019 and like was a sleeper and shit, got a lot of airplay, and he reminds me a lot of the JIDs, the Deontay Hitchcocks, as far as like the reason why I chose him, like his sound, he's adaptable to now as far as rap, but the substance that he put into his music, it would be like, yo, what the fuck? Like the production level of what he's bringing versus the visuals that he's putting out, the lyrics that he's talking about in his songs with the sound. Kenny Mason in 5 years, I believe that he's going to be a name in music that is just going to be like, yeah, this nigga throwing out bangers and his bitch, like, got some substance to it. So,
right.
Kenny Mason.
For sure. I'm definitely going to have to tap into him. I don't know much about him. The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I've listened to him much. But, shoot, that's why we're doing this episode, to educate all of us. Facts. So, for me, the next person on my list, I know Phelan is definitely going to be happy that she's mentioned. But Normani.
Yeah. With the new team, but yes.
Yes. I mean, but me and you have been having this conversation for, I don't know how long at this point.
I want to fire them for her.
No, but seriously, like Normani has everything to be the next big thing in pop and in that realm of music. R&B to a degree, but I still feel like she definitely has the pop appeal. Yeah, I don't know what it is with her team. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what the strategy has been.
Save her.
No, but
please.
literally, I mean, because a lot of people can, like, when you compare her and what's the other girl name from Fifth Harmony?
Oh, Camila Cabello.
Yeah, and I mean, and when you look at that, Phelan's not a fan. Anyway,
I can see. I can see.
so when you look at their trajectory and you look at the fact that she's, you know, had some of these big collaborations and seems to kind of be a bigger name, but I don't think too many people would say she's more talented, you know, than Normani is. So, you know, it's really up to Normani and her team, because there's no reason, and she's still, you know, young, and
Relatively
she
young.
has time. I'm iffy saying that, but all the ingredients are there.
I just don't. I would like to say, even though she has time, don't waste a year.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm
like,
iffy on time, because like you don't want it to get to a point where another her comes up and now is more of a competition instead of her having that spot when she's supposed to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if she in 5 years, if Normani is not one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing in pop,
it's over.
Me and Phelan will be
I'm gonna go sue her
bonding
team.
over drinks.
You say you gonna go sue her
I'm gonna
team?
sue her team.
By that point, Phelan gonna be a lawyer. He mess around and be like, hey, look.
Come over here.
Come.
This way.
I'll get the
I got
marketing
you.
people.
Yeah.
I have the legalities. We're good. I promise y'all. If Normani's not big in 5 years, do not be surprised if y'all follow Phelan and y'all see him posting about being a part of her team. I kid you not. I kid you
I'm
not.
tired.
Who's next on your list?
So on the mind,
Who's next?
I got Deontay Hitchcock. We did his album Better over in season 2.
Yeah.
I really fuck with Deontay heavy, man.
Yeah.
He reminds me so much of Cole, and it's like he's on a mission as a young rapper, and I wouldn't want to say young because he's not really that young, but the fact that he know that the spotlight is on him in that window of hip hop, and it's like, I'm all gas, no breaks. I don't give a fuck what nobody's saying. I'm unapologetically gonna rap my shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk my shit, and of course, and you know, right now is just the start of who he is as an artist, because he's been doing this for a while. But the fact that Better, his debut album, was much to talk about, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't a long album, which we discussed in one of the album reviews as well. In 5 years, I believe Deontay Hitchcock is gonna be a staple in hip hop, and I'm standing on that shit for sure.
No, for sure. I think there's a lot of rappers in his class specifically that kind of, they're not competing, but I think they're all in that same bubble. And I think the thing is, all of them won't become, you know, those kind of names.
Yeah.
But I definitely think he is one of the probably 4 or 5 that I can think of off the top of my head that have the potential. The other ones are not on my list, but they're definitely something we can circle back to, because I definitely have a couple of honorable mentions. But the next person on my list, third person on my list, Don Toliver.
That nigga dog. He a dog.
Don Toliver, man. The thing about Don Toliver to me is you can tell the influence from Travis, right? But it's still his own sound. It's still his own thing, and he's still extremely versatile like Travis is, but you know, he's versatile in his own right.
And that's hard to do.
Yeah, it is. But I think his sound, I think his sound and that versatility leaves him open to be able to do a lot of things. His album that dropped this year, Heaven or Hell, was amazing, man. And everything else that he's been a part of.
I was about to say his feature run is.
I mean, even within, for me, like, I didn't really get hit to Don Toliver until last October.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? So like, even within the coming up on a year that I've known who he is, I haven't heard or saw much that I wasn't happy with or that I didn't want more of. So I definitely think in 5 years, man, especially as you start to see people in music taking more like backseat roles or just like starting to do other stuff, like if Travis starts getting more into, you know, producing or other stuff and not making music like that, you kind of open the door for people like Don Toliver to really be in that position in 5 years, in my opinion.
So, fourth on my list, I got Umi.
Okay, that's a nice one. I don't think a lot of people know about her.
I believe that she has this very unique sound that's fresh for R&B. Like, you get that neo soul mixed with lo-fi, You know what I'm saying? And the last EP that she just put out, Introspective, which was not only an EP, but it was a film that went along with it.
Oh, okay, didn't know that.
Really opened up a lot to who she is as an artist, who she is as a woman, like showing that her entire band is nothing but women. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's dope.
And they
that's
all
dope.
fucking talented. It just really, that EP just showed like she has and bro, she's only like 21. She has a gray head on her shoulders, and in 5 years when she's at that 24, 25, 26 age, like R&B, I believe a lot of people is going to be looking for her for as far as sounds, and if in music, I believe Umi is definitely going to be something just to watch out for. She's something amazing for sure.
Yeah, and I think Umi has I love that. Like if you really kind of if you're a person that loves like listening to new music, finding new music and deep diving, there's so many just different vibes, different sounds that are just cold. That just there's just so much past like, oh, this is R&B, or this is soul, this is hip hop. Like when you look at your different types of alternative, and you and she falls into that category for me. Like yeah, she's pretty much R&B, but like it's not she's not giving you a summer vibe. Like it's not a snow vibe. It's not an Ari vibe. It's not. It sounds nothing like what mainstream R&B is, but it's still dope as hell. So I'm definitely glad she made your list. It's funny. I showed this. The girl I chose is she's more in the what people would consider the normal or stereotypical R&B realm. But I think Kiana Lede, man, I feel the way you feel about Umi's the way I feel about her. Her debut album, Kiki, that dropped, I want to say March. That was a very, to be her debut album, it was extremely polished. Very, very well done. She sounded like she had been doing this for some time, and as an introduction, for a lot of people to her, at least in the album sense, I think she showed that she can only go up from that. I mean, people run into, sophomore slumps and stuff like that. But I think she has the potential. She has a voice. I think she has, in some of the features, like, I mean, I know who your next person is, but she has a feature with that person. She has a feature with a few others. I think she had somebody on her album that I wasn't expecting. Like I think it might have been like Moneybagg or somebody. But she has that kind of appeal. So I think with the right kind of marketing, I think as long as she keeps developing her music and her sound and her voice, she can be one of them people in the next 5 years too.
Kiana Lede. Yeah. So my fifth, Lucky Day.
Yeah, man. His story is crazy because I don't even think people realize like how old he is, like based on what their perception is.
And that's one thing that I had to say. Like, Lucky Day has got a spotlight at a late start. Like he's in his 30s. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of when you watch his video and when you just hear him sing, you would think like, okay, he's probably about in his mid 20s and stuff like that. And like you said, his stories. Not only can he make you groove, but you really want to, his voice make you want to sit down and like really appreciate R&B. You know what I'm saying? And not only just the R&B, but the pop R&B. Like he give you that vibe that is just like, oh, I can listen to him, sounding like this, and then I can even listen to him sounding like that. So Lucky Day is definitely in 5 years. He's going to be another sound that, whether it be a feature run or just another solo album, because Painted and Painted Deluxe, that was
both fire,
fucking fire,
both extremely
so
fire.
Lucky Day in 5 years.
He had a very strong year last year, and has continued. And he's on like you said, he's on a feature run right now. That's ridiculous if people are paying attention. But Lucky Day definitely should be a big name in the next. I mean, I don't think his age really plays a role in unless he as far as him continuing to still release music.
Shit, look at 2 Chainz.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But I think that I think him not doing music will be the only thing that stops him from becoming one of those names. I'm not sure if that goes past R&B, and that's not a bad thing, but I definitely think at least at the bare minimum in the realm of R&B, he'll definitely be at the top of that conversation in 5 years for sure. The last, wow, I'm proud of myself. I got 3 women on this list. The last per artist on my list is Chica.
She's so fire. She's
Chica,
so hard.
like I've always been a huge fan of like women who can really rap. Like we're both huge fans of Rhapsody.
Facts.
But Chica's she just brings something different, man. Like Rhapsody is more so like true, like you could tell like she come from that like kind of like they feel like she come from like the hip hop era. Like
the grittiness,
like you know, and I feel like I get that, you know, from her. But Chica, it's kind of like that mentally, but modern. So it's like she could still feel like us, but she got ties, but she just kind of putting her own spin on her inspirations from that era. You know what I'm saying? Like the flow, her ability to switch flows and do different things is crazy. She can give you melodies. I wouldn't call her a singer, but she can give you melodies and make it sound seamless. And she's like at this point she only has an EP out. She only has a 7-song. I don't know if she's considering it an album, but you know, a 7-song EP out. You know, wait until she actually gets, you know, I don't want to say free reign, but wait till she actually gets into a position where, I'm putting together an album. I'm reaching out, you know, I'm reaching out, you know, for features or people saying they want to hop on this track, and we get that in a more large scale format. I definitely think in 5 years, man, if she keep, you know, going on the route that she's going and continuing to get better with her music, which I don't think, you know, she would stop or you know not be wanting to get better. I think in 5 years, man, we'll definitely be talking about her. I mean, you'll have your Megs, you know, you'll have Meg, you know, you'll have Cardi, and you'll have all the other artists. You know, there's a lot of great female artists out right now, and rappers specifically. But I think she could have potential within the next 5 years to truly. I think she can step over a lot just from a pure talent standpoint, to be completely honest. And then if she's marketed right, man, that's a household name. That's a household name in less than 5 years probably. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. So did you? So I mean, that's our 5. I know I got a few honorable mentions.
Probably agree with them.
And the reason they honorable mentions for me is because when I'm looking at next up, I'm thinking of people who don't. Either one, I don't listen to them enough to feel strong enough to put on my list, or two, I feel like they still have the potential to be next up, but they're in a place where they still have a relatively high amount of recognition. So it's kind of like they're already on their way to being next up, and it's not like we kind of putting people on. So the first person will be Baby Keem. Now I say Baby Keem because I haven't listened to Baby Keem a lot, but I've heard nothing but positive things about Baby Keem.
Baby Keem.
So and I mean, just from understanding what kind of artist he is from a little bit I have heard and what I do know, I think that, you know, as time goes on, as he continues to release music and start collaborating, I think he'll be in that conversation as well in the next 5 years. Chloe and Haley. I mean, we talked about it when we did the album review, but what they'll be able to do in the industry, period. Whether it be music, whether it be who they eventually collab with, whether it be what they may do on the production side, they have the potential to really become one of those people. Even if they don't become huge artists, they'll always be names that come up like, oh yeah, no, she produced that. Like her producing credits is crazy, or writing credits is crazy, both of them. So they on the list. Roddy is on the list for me only because of course I feel there's still a lot of room for Roddy to.
And that's the only reason why I left. That's literally the only reason.
But at the same time, Roddy is still a huge name right now. So he's already on his way. He's already, you know, in his ascension to being at the top. I think honestly, if you looking at, you know, it's like Baby, Gunna, and Roddy is in that tier to me in terms of people.
I would actually stack it in that tier of rap. It would go Baby, Roddy, then I would probably either have to put Dirk, then Gunna.
I'm not putting Dirk in that new class. Why Dirk is not new.
It's not the fact that he's new. It's the fact that Dirk is finally getting that shine, and because those 3 artists that we named, Gunna, Roddy, and Baby, they're getting mainstream shine. Dirk was an underground drill.
Dirk ain't been underground for that long, bro. Like Dirk been around long enough, in my opinion. Dirk been around. He's been
around long enough,
but not even in the underground sense. I'm saying Dirk has been around long enough and in mainstream long enough to not be considered in that tier. Like Dirk don't have, like to me, Dirk don't have much ascension left. Not because he's not good, but because I feel like he's recognized.
You feel like he's there?
I mean, I don't know if Dirk has reached his peak yet or not, but I don't think Dirk is in a position where I would consider him somebody to be looking at as next up. So, but all of them, like, and I kind of wouldn't put Baby and Gunna in them either. But in reference to Roddy being an honorable mention, Roddy to me is in their position of they're all going to continue to make music and ideally get better. So you can still see them as next up, especially as kind of the top of rap in 5 to 10 years. But I wouldn't group Dirk with them. I don't think Dirk. I think they're a lower tier than Dirk in the sense of recognition. I feel like it would be. I feel like it's disrespectful to make it seem like Dirk is in the no for real. Like I'm not the biggest Dirk fan, but like I would never sit there and make it seem like Dirk doesn't have a certain following or that people don't.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's just me. I think you shouldn't group Dirk with them, or I wouldn't group Dirk with that group based on what we were saying. And then the last person, it was who you asked me about, Giveon. I don't know how you say it. Giveon.
I still couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
I don't know. Giveon.
The person who sang on Chicago Freestyle. Y'all let us know how you say his name. But anyway, I think I don't know if he's the next big thing, but I think he'll be around for some time, or he has the potential to. Let me say that. I think his sound is different, but voice is amazing. And he brings a different feel to R&B. It's a different flavor for sure that I feel like will be sustained in a certain niche. Like I feel like he'll be relevant, but he'll be in that pocket of like not mainstream music, but still music that people will go and listen to, consistently. So that's where he falls for me. But yeah, them the only honorable mentions I got.
Okay. I don't have no honorable mentions. I agree with you as far as who's next up out of this next class. So
For sure, most definitely. I mean, and then the last thing before we end this episode that I wanted to circle back to was you mentioning Corday, and I think it's interesting because we've had this conversation before too. When I think of Corday, man, Corday immediately makes me think of your JIDs, Sminos, Kaz, Buddy. There are so many. I mean, even your I hesitantly say Guap Dad.
I would say when Guap Dad wants to talk his shit.
Right.
Guap
You know what I'm
Dad,
saying?
sure.
So it's kind of like there's this class of rappers that aren't really mainstream, but they fire as fuck. And like I don't know who out of that class, like, cause it's somebody's ascension could come from so many different things happening. You just never know who may get the right feature, who may get seen at just the right time, and it's the perfect storm. You don't know. But I think Corday has the potential. I think Jid is a feature or another album away with the right person from really being. Like Jid got tapped by Cole, but imagine if Jid get tapped by Kendrick or a Drake or even somebody like older. Like I don't think it'll happen, like a Jay or some shit, like a Ye. Like if he got tapped on that level, I really feel like people will understand like just how ridiculous he is. But I don't think somebody like Smino is far behind. I don't think somebody like Buddy is far behind. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough, but I feel like they all are kind of, because they have similar styles, and that style of rap, I personally feel like it's the perfect fusion of, like, I'm getting my hip hop from you because you spitting bars, but it's also how music sounds today, which is pleasant to the ear. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's just an interesting class of rappers that I really can't wait to see what happens with them. I don't know if Corday is the only one that I could confidently say right now will become a household name. But I mean, I feel like a lot of them have the potential.
I feel like Corday is gonna be that artist that makes hip hop competitive again.
That's bold. That's bold.
Just with the fact of what he did with the old niggas freestyle, and knowing like I can really talk my shit and aim it at a motherfucker.
But see, I don't know. I don't know, cause the last person to do that was Kendrick. To really make rap competitive, I don't think since Control we've had something. Well, I mean, Drake and Pusha beef was very specific.
Yeah.
So I don't really consider
It
that
wasn't
for
really-
rap. But I mean you could speak to it, but from like it wasn't like nobody else was taking that beef and being like, oh, I'm about to go at niggas. But
We already knew where these
right.
songs were.
But you know, like what Kendrick did on Control was so
niggas.
it wasn't even so much that it was bold. It was hella strategic. Cause it was a challenge. If anything, it was a challenge that you could choose to accept or not to. It's completely up to you. I don't know. I say it's bold because I don't know if Corday. Not that he can't. I just don't know if he is compelled to. Cause what does he have to gain from it? Or I'll say this: if Corday gets to a point where maybe he releases a second album, it gets the same praise, if not more.
That's Lost Boy.
Yeah, maybe he got a Grammy under his belt or something. Like once his status is there, because you gotta think Kendrick did drop Control in 13. That was coming off a Good Kid. That was coming off of being routed that Grammy. That was coming off of Your Name already ascending. He had did Defeat the Buried Alive on Take Care before, so his name was already there. So when he did it. It meant more because at that point it was clear as day that he was coming. So I think for Corday, I agree that he could, but as far as if he will, I think we will only be able to tell in a couple years, like if we start to see this ascension. Because then he also has to care enough about rap to do it.
He does.
He has to care enough. He has to care enough to call people out. He has to care enough to say, I'm going to challenge my peers to do A, B, and C. But the wild thing is, I don't think rap is in a state where it needs to be pushed the way it did back when Kendrick did it. I think they're relatively as competitive as you want rap to be without beef. You know what I'm saying? I think rap is there. I think you got people that don't need... I think you got people already looking like, oh, you know, that's my homie, but he just dropped that tape and that shit kind of fire. Like, I need to get on my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's all because... Iron sharpens iron, so that should kind of be the mentality anyway. Like, yeah, that's my homie. You dropped a fire ass tape. Let me go rewrite these verses.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me go fix this hook.
You gotta think
call
like
it a day.
After that Dreamville camp, a lot of niggas that came out of that camp was fucking on fire. So.
You know what I'm saying? Like even that in that camp itself, like that is a way that you can ignite competition in rap. Because like Reason said in one of his videos about the camp, you know, there's people that was at that camp who recorded verses that didn't make it. It's people that was there every day that didn't get a verse on the song or on the album. And it's like it makes you just always want to be better at your craft and get to a point where you can't be in a room, have a verse, and somebody not want to put that on the song. Man. You know what I'm saying? That's the level you want to be at as an artist. But yeah, man, y'all, like I said, we're going to have that playlist for y'all with, I don't know how many songs, but it will be at least one song from all the artists that we mentioned, even the honorable mentions as well. Let us know who y'all think is up next, if y'all agree with the artists that we said. If it's somebody that y'all feel like we missed that's really on the rise, yeah, definitely just stay tuned, interacting with our socials, and let us know what y'all want to see on this platform, man. Like we love having these combos, and we want to keep taking it deeper, keep going past the news of today and past, you know, what's going on now, and really focus on like the future of music and who can be the future of music, because we know music is constantly evolving, and now it's just about, you know, who's gonna take that torch and who's gonna continue to lead that way in all aspects. So yeah, man, that was episode 2, bro. You know what I'm saying? And shit, until episode 3, and until next time, peace.
Yes, sir.
In your bag for the day, you looking bad as you wanna. Thought you had a man, I made a fat ass of some. Turning necks and pumping brakes. When that ass hit the function, it's time to go